Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'd like to thank you all for tuning in to the show. As always, I got my crew with me, Darnell and Tyler. I'm Trey, and we are coming your way with the 74th edition of the Don't Kill the Messengers podcast. First thing we're about to talk about today is UFC 213. That card was pretty different compared to what when we initially talked about it. We talked about it a week earlier. But it was different, man. Me personally, know it was kind of last minute with waiting on Nunez, but just how it was looking, man, I think that what would have been best if they put that on Fox, instead of a pay-per-view. I don't think the, numbers did pretty well, for this particular event. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, it was probably a card that was meant for free TV anyway.
Yeah.
It's not like Nunez is going to sell a bunch more tickets. Seeing as the UFC doesn't really push her anyway. It's not like she gets a Ronda Rousey treatment or anything like that. So I really don't think them pulling her fight hurt the card too much. It was one of those that was destined to have low numbers anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, anything you had something else to say after that, man? Or
no, I didn't have high expectations for Sullivan before the issue with her getting pulled happened.
Yeah, true. All right, so first fight we're about to talk about, man, is Pettis versus Miller. Just what were your thoughts on that?
It was a fun fight. Both fighters were active. Miller, he gave it his best shot, but Pettis, this was one of those days where he was on his game. He looked crisp. Everything he was throwing his fist was snapping. He was feeling happy. He was doing cartwheel kicks.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was a good fight for him. Hopefully, it sets him on the path to get back to stringing along some victories, get back near the top of the division. Yeah. But we have to see. I mean, like I said, we previewed this one. This was one where we knew if Pettis would have lost this one, he's pretty much done.
Yeah.
So lucky for him, he won and won convincingly. So maybe there's still something left in the tank for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel the exact same way, man. I was kind of nervous about Pettis going into this fight, just how he was looking with his previous fights, but he looked pretty well. We kind of saw little flashes of the Pettis in his prime, but hopefully, like you just mentioned, this could be a good turning point for him. He can go in there. Like to see who his next opponent will be, but hopefully he can start racking those wins up and get into the shape he was when he was the champ. Because when he was doing his thing, man, he was an absolute beast. So it'll be good to see if he can. Yeah.
Because he's the type of fighter that can move the meter for the UFC and sell some tickets. I mean, like we said about him at one point, this was the guy on Wheaties boxes and was looked at as the future of MMA. So
yeah. Now, is there a guy that you would like to see him fight next, in particular that you would think will give him a good opportunity to see if he's really the old Pettis, or are you just waiting to see or what?
I guess I don't have anybody directly in mind that he needs to go after. I definitely want to see him pushed. And I guess he has to decide what weight class he's going to fight at.
Yeah, true.
Since he's been jumping back and forth, because this one was at lightweight, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I would definitely like to see him fight a top 10 type guy. See, we had that Justin Gaethje that I think he fought on the Ultimate Fighter card. He had a nice fight with on that card. And I think he would be a nice little another tough fight to see what's going on.
Somebody you said Gaethje.
Yeah.
With Johnson.
Yeah, he fought.
Yeah, that fight was amazing, man. That was that was an awesome fight. So, yeah, he could fight like that against Pettis, man. That would be another one. That would be a good one to see for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely a fight that would bring some fireworks. So
yeah. All right, up next, we're about to go to Reem versus Verdum. This was a little interesting fight, man. A lot of people were kind of disappointed with Reem getting the victory in this one. It's pretty tough to call, from my opinion, but I think Verdum is actually challenging the fight. This is disappointing, that loss. But yeah, what were your thoughts on Reem versus Verdum?
It was a smidge better than their last fight.
Yeah.
That's my thought on it. I mean, yeah, I guess the ruling could be seen as controversial just because the strike differential was pretty heavy, leaning towards Verdum.
Yeah.
I do feel like the better strikes were landed by Overeem. They both dropped each other once. Yeah. So I give some credit there, but I mean it was a lot like the last fight. You had a lot of Verdum trying to pull guard, and they were both scared to engage with each other just because they feared each other's strengths, and just made for another bad fight between the two. I just don't want to see them ever fight again.
Hey, it's the third one, man. So hopefully, usually it's 3 and done with fights. So hopefully we'll never have to see that again, man.
Yes,
for sure.
UFC brass never put these two in the same ring again. I don't care if they're both on 15-fight winning streaks. I don't want to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely agree. Was definitely looking to see somebody get knocked out in this one. Didn't happen. Like I said, Overeem, I do think he landed the more better strikes. But with counter punchers, usually they don't throw a lot of strikes. They're usually countering, looking for to get the best hit on their opponent. So you wasn't really seeing a lot of a good output from Overeem in that fight. But like you said, they both tagged each other pretty good in the fight. Like I said, it was close. Would have been disappointed if Verdum won because Reem's my boy. But I wouldn't have been shocked if they gave Verdum the win for that fight. So kind of bittersweet, man. I'm happy for Verdum, but if they're giving him Miocic next, he's going to have to step his game up for that one. I was not really impressed with his win at all for this fight. So just that third round, he did look a little bit tired coming into that one. So if he's going to be fighting Stipe, it's going to be 5 rounds. So he's going to have to step his conditioning up and just be ready for a fest, man. So if Stipe ends up tagging him, it could definitely be lights out. So I'm happy he won, but I think he's really going to have to step his game up to prepare for Miocic if they give him that fight next.
Yeah, if they give him that, he can't be that apprehensive to engage against somebody like Stipe trying to sit back and wait for the perfect counter because Stipe's too good of a boxer himself, and he'll end up getting knocked loopy again.
Yeah, he knocked out Verdum going back, backpedaling instead of going forward. So this guy's power is no joke. So, like I said, I'm happy for my man Reem getting that win. I do want to see him finally get a belt in the UFC, but I'm definitely not impressed by that win, man. He's going to have to step it up, get a little bit more confidence in the striking game. It's good for him I won't mind him countering a little bit, but he's going to have to be a little bit more aggressive in a fight against Stipe. Just be a little bit cautious as well, man, because like I said, that guy's no joke. So, all right, man. Anything else? Well, you was bringing up Cain Velasquez. Me and you both think that'd be a great fight. Would you personally give Reem the title shot next? Like, how were you feeling about this fight?
I'd be a little apprehensive after watching that fight. I mean, I know, like I know there's a history of just this is how these two match up with each other. So I don't want to be too harsh on it just because we saw this movie before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it just was not an impressive showing. The victory can be questioned, just because like I said, the strike differential was heavy towards Verdun. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be mad if they gave him another fight before giving him another shot after that.
Yeah. So I definitely agree with what you're saying, man. And like I just said, man, if Reem goes in there with that type of mentality and that type of fight, I can already say he's going to lose. So Stipe's no joke. So he's going to have his stuff together for sure. All right, up next we got Whitaker versus Romero. This was a kind of interesting fight, man. I was kind of disappointed in Romero with a little bit of his performance. Think he should have attacked that leg of Whitaker's more, but didn't happen. Looked like he was going to win at first, but Whitaker stuck in there, man. That dude showed toughness, which is how his leg was feeling to keep pushing forward. So just thoughts on this fight.
Yeah, I mean, that seems to be most people's opinion there. Everybody's a little confused at why Yoel went away from those teat kicks to the knee.
Yeah.
Whitaker let it be known after the fight that he had a knee injury, that he thought it healed up pretty well, but immediately Romero kicked it a couple times and it was shot after that, he said. And Romero, after the fight, said he saw him limping, but still didn't attack the knee. And it's just like, dude, this is a belt on the line.
Yeah.
Like, what are you thinking? You take whatever advantage you have. You start hacking at that, and this is lead leg. It's not like it's one that you can hide from you. So yeah, I was very surprised by that. But yeah, props to him for fighting through it. As far as Whitaker goes, I mean, he stuck with it. He didn't hide his knee. He stuck with his game plan.
Yeah.
I liked his game plan. I mean, it took a little bit to come through. He fought a little bit unorthodox, had his hands down a lot, but it was more so to protect from Romero's takedowns.
Yeah.
Because, Romero is an Olympic wrestler.
Yeah.
And he
to do that stopped with that leg, man, and to stop Romero, that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, because I think the statistics were Romero went for 18 takedowns and only got 4 of them.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So the game plan worked there, and then that front kick to the body that Whitaker was throwing started to pay dividend once you got about to the third round. You could see Romero was starting to slow down.
Yeah.
And then it caused Whitaker to basically control the whole last round because he got top position on him. And Romero was too tired to really do anything about it. But both of these guys hung in there. They threw bombs that we knew they could throw. Yeah. They both ate hard punches, kicks, and everything, and kept throwing. It was a very good fight. Romero probably got the first 2 rounds, but I think Whitaker pretty much took over after that and, took it home and earned that interim title.
Yeah, that's how I basically scored it. I gave Romero the first 2, and then Whitaker, I think he won the last 3. So, but yeah, man, wanted Romero to win it, man, but Whitaker stepped up. He pulled through with his toughness. Really think he's going to be giving Bisping problems, man. I don't think Bisping wants to mess with that boy. He was talking trash with him at the end of the fight, but
Bisping was being Bisping. I don't think he wanted either one of these two.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be you better enjoy that belt, man, because I think that's going to be taken away from soon this year. So it's going to be tough, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny to see him come in there and, talk his stuff, throw the belt. I don't understand why he threw his belt on the ground. It's just like, and props to Whitaker, too, for being quick. Can I keep that, bro?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, he already went into hype mode for when they fight. I guess we have to see how bad that knee is for Whitaker.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Will he be able to come back in a reasonable amount of time, or do we get the GSP Bisping fight resurrected before this happens, or something else?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that was at least something fun to end the night.
Yeah. Now, just what were your thoughts on Nunez just pulling out, man? I know Dana said I guess the doctors cleared her to fight or something like that, but she decided not to. Or
yeah, I mean, it's touch and go situation. I mean, in pro sports, just hearing somebody got cleared to do something that really doesn't impress me.
Yeah, sure.
Just the history of sports, the team doctors or league doctors, they try to get people on the field or in the cage, in the ring, whatever the sport is. So that's not a big thing for me. I'm not sure how bad this issue was for Nunez. This major sinusitis or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Sinusitis.
Sinusitis,
Yeah, that's it, sinusitis. But apparently it causes extreme sinus pressure to the face. So, I mean, if anybody's had a bad sinus infection or sinus headache, your life is pretty miserable when you have that. Yeah. I can't imagine getting punched in the nose when I have that.
Oh, yeah.
But apparently she's fought with it before. But she said in doing that, it was a bad day for her. She lost the fight. She didn't want to go through that again. I guess I can somewhat understand that. You're the champion. You have a belt. You don't want to go through with this.
Yeah.
But of course, if somebody pulls out of a fight, especially if it's one of the headlining fights of a card, Dana goes into his whole spiel and starts dragging you through the mud. You're scared of who you were fighting and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, Dana.
Yeah. So I guess with me, just because I know that's coming whenever somebody pulls out for whatever reason, you basically have a dislocated shoulder, and he would probably do that if he thought it was ruining his card.
Yeah.
But I mean, the reason I guess is a little iffy. I guess I look at it, if you aren't compassionate to her reason for pulling out of the fight, I'm not going to argue with you. If you give her a break for the reason pulling out of the fight, I'm not going to argue with you there either. It's just you wish it didn't happen the day of the card.
Yeah.
I wish it would have been a couple weeks so maybe they could get somebody to fill in. Apparently JJ was willing to step in short notice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she was serious about it, even though this 10 plus pounds she would be giving up. But apparently she was ready to step in there and fight. But them's breaks. Like I said earlier, I don't really think it affected the card or the buy rate or the gate or anything like that. I think what they made off of that fight, that's what they were going to make off of that fight. The money fight for this card was probably Romero and Whitaker, maybe some people coming off of the name value of Overeem and Verdum.
Yeah.
Just sorry. It's no disrespect to female fighters. I watch it. I like watching them fight, but the UFC doesn't push either of these two fighters enough to really say that they're moving the needle for pay-per-view sales. Even though Shevchenko and Nunez are very good fighters, they're elite. They deserve to be in the spot that they were in, but they weren't why people were going to buy this card or not.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. Now, just looking at it, man, it seemed like this could be a quick injury for her to recover from. If they possibly put that on 214 or...
Yeah, I definitely think this is something you could throw on the next card or the card after that, depending on...
Yeah.
I think when they add this card, it just depends on how much it has to change to the UFC's marketing schedule and what they have already produced for the next card. So, but I think we get a quick turnaround. This fight happens in a month or two.
Yeah, So I'm about to say, 214's a couple weeks away, so definitely put that on there. But just any other thoughts for UFC 213, man?
I mean, like we said, it probably would have been better off not on pay-per-view. Yeah, it would have been a lot better shine for some of these fighters. Might have got some names out there a little bit more.
Yeah.
To build the fan base for maybe in the future buying a pay-per-view with these fighters, but not a bad card, a weird card, because you had to pull a fight within hours of the pay-per-view starting, and one fight that was definite controversy as far as who won.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess some people are arguing the Whitaker-Romero decision too. I'm not sure why, but
yeah, sure. Yeah, I think that one was clear as day. Whitaker and Romero.
Yeah,
but yeah. Some people got to find something to complain about, I guess. But hey, it's not UFC 213, man. But I hate to see Gegard Mousasi go. That guy was a beast in the UFC, man. Very underrated fighter. That guy put in major work, so he signed with Bellator. But yeah, I hate to see him leave the UFC because there was rumor. I guess Dana wanted to give him Luke Rockhold for 215, I believe it was, but decided to bounce and go to Bellator. Probably was going to be making more money anyway there. So,
well, yeah, I was going to say, did you hear his reasoning for leaving?
No, what was his reason? Well, money.
He said he would rather deal with Scott Coker than Dana.
Ooh.
The Reebok deal is garbage. And he would make more money because he would be able to have his sponsors.
Yes.
It's slowly happening, but I mean, they're losing some really talented fighters.
Exactly.
Going to Bellator, and most of them mentioned that Reebok deal going out the door.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because what, in the last year, that's Rory McDonald.
Yeah, that's right.
Gegard Mousasi.
Yeah.
Benson Henderson 2 years ago. Paul Davis.
Yeah.
And that's some talent.
That's talent, exactly.
Ryan Bader.
Yeah, Ryan Bader too. Yeah, another beast, man. Yeah.
So I mean, that's a lot of attrition to, I mean, especially like the light heavyweight and middleweight divisions that they lost their fighters.
Yeah, and all those guys you mentioned too, man. Like you said, great fighters. I don't think they got a good enough push in the UFC as well. I know like Benson Henderson, he had the belt, but he was mostly it wasn't getting like pay-per-views, mostly fighting on Fox and stuff.
He was usually on Fox cards.
Yeah, so
as the champion.
Yeah, exactly. So today, man, maybe down the road, man, your boy Mighty Mouse might be doing this same thing, dude, because he's probably the best in the business, not getting that push. So like I said, he could be another one of the guys to leave and go because it sucks, man. Because like I said, those guys like Gegard Mousasi, very underrated guy. For him to go, like I said, him missing with Dana and just him not making enough money. What can you do? So, it's the best thing
I mean, definitely a top 5 fighter for his division, and eventually they leaving you like that. I mean,
it's tough.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.